You might never have imagined it, but while Daniel fasted, humbling himself before the God of heaven, a terrifying war was erupting in the unseen realms. In this very moment, Archangel Michael was summoned to stand face to face against the Prince of Darkness, a titanic and merciless adversary who had blocked the passage between Daniel's hope and God's fulfillment. All the forces of evil conspired, swarming together to prevent a single answer from reaching this devoted man, transforming the heavenly heights into a battlefield of staggering fury. Angels clashed against powers of darkness, their struggles echoing far above, while Daniel, exhausted and relentless, waited in his solitude, ignorant of the invisible danger that surrounded his request. Never before had a prayer, pure and sincere, unleashed such a violent conflict. Armors of light engaged, tempests of hell awakened. In the silence of his chamber, Daniel persisted. He wept tears that few have known, hungering for answers that never arrived. But beyond his comprehension, heaven trembled, and every prayer pulsed like thunder across the skies. Michael, noble and unstoppable, pressed forward, plunging through legions of shadow, shattering barriers with radiant power, each blow forged by the faith of a mortal. This was not simply a war of light against darkness, but a heroic struggle to deliver a blessing destined to change the path of one of God's greatest servants. This is the true story, a story the world rarely dares to tell, of what happens when heaven itself rises up in defense of those who will not surrender, no matter the silence, no matter the cost. Daniel bore a mark, carved in courage, sustained by the fire of justice and a faith that would not bend. Surrounded by the pomp of a pagan empire, he refused every distraction of luxury, retreating into prayer where only God heard his cries. With every word whispered in the gloom, Daniel believed he would be rescued, that no power could deny God's purposes, until those days of quiet suffering when the heavens seemed impossibly distant. He fasted, he mourned, he rejected all comfort, certain his devotion would shake the strongholds above. And so, his obedience summoned a battle in the spiritual realm that would forever change how prayers are answered. Yet neither Daniel nor his generation saw the secret war forming overhead. Upon sensing the threat to divine blessing, the Prince of Darkness assembled principalities and powers with one purpose: to lock away the promise meant for this man. It wasn't enough for Daniel to have faith. Perseverance was demanded, a courage unbroken, as Archangel Michael charged into unspeakable combat, intent on breaking through the barriers of hell itself. Every second Daniel endured, stretched with the agony of violence unknown to men, a war so astonishing it is seldom preached from pulpits, rarely inked in sacred texts. From the moment Daniel dropped to his knees, the divine answer was set, if only the way could be cleared. But the Prince of Darkness had risen with sinister ambition, constructing walls that separated heaven from earth's plea. Michael's battle was more than any vision, prophecy, or miracle. It was a clash where every step forward met savage resistance, where the Archangel's strength was tested by the relentless cruelty of evil. As Daniel waited, plagued by doubt and confusion, Michael stormed the darkness with unwavering resolve, every prayer fueling the onslaught, every tear firing the armies of heaven. This was not a remote contest of ghostly beings. It was a war for destiny. Daniel's future and the people he would deliver hung precariously within the turmoil. Michael could not falter. All his might and celestial tactics were thrown into reclaiming the answer, now imprisoned in the chaos overhead. The Prince of Darkness struck at Daniel's resolve, sending waves of discouragement and whispers of failure to erode his faith. But Daniel persisted. With every refusal to give up, light surged. With every small hope, shadows were forced back. Heaven and hell found their battlefield in Daniel's soul. What Daniel could not see were the waves of darkness swelling. Michael fought amid storms of fear, temptation, and violent distraction, hurled by the Prince of Darkness to obliterate every shred of hope. The air itself thickened with oppression. Yet as Daniel prayed, unaware, his broken heart radiated power that strengthened the heavenly hosts. All of God's angels rallied behind Michael, united by the unwavering devotion of a single believer on earth. Behind the veil, more dangers lurked. Days with no response, nights haunted by silence. The Prince of Darkness staked everything, believing Daniel would yield before Michael prevailed. Yet Daniel's faith was forged in fire, and his resolve became unbearable to the malignant powers that hoped to see him fail. Every skirmish found Michael embattled but unbowed, knowing the outcome would shape destinies both celestial and terrestrial. In that invisible realm, the struggle had become more than just for Daniel. It was now for hope itself. All while the world of men spun on, unaware, the spiritual onslaught intensified. Michael called upon angels from the highest orders, devising maneuvers and counterstrikes unknown to mortals. The Prince of Darkness grew desperate, gathering every demon and every trick to create an impregnable fortress of evil. Inch by inch, miracle by miracle, the battle raged, and each ground gained meant the hope of Daniel, the fulfillment of God's promise, one step closer. Here, in the shadows of conflict, Michael's power was fueled by Daniel's faith, even as the man below faltered and questioned. Temptations grew strong, doubt whispered, loneliness crushed Daniel's spirit. In his darkest hours, Michael surged with fresh strength, battling on, uplifted by the prayers and fastings of God's chosen. The enemies above did all they could, feeding every insecurity, raising new walls of resistance. Through storms and misery, Daniel's every cry became a beacon, guiding Michael and weakening the armies of darkness. Yet never, through all this, did God lose command. What Daniel saw as delay or disappointment was, in truth, an unseen war, a divine strategy unfolding. The silence, the uncertainty, all were signs of battles being fought with weapons and shields that men cannot perceive. Heaven moved quietly, persistently, while Michael gave his all, determined to pierce through the blockade and show that God's promises forever endure. Then, in a moment of miraculous triumph, Michael released his ultimate attack, crushing the last barricades erected by the Prince of Darkness. The evil that had held back the blessing wavered and broke, and God's purpose rushed forward. The silence shattered. Daniel's perseverance, his tears, his relentless faith became the flame that transformed suffering into holy testimony. Between heaven and earth, the battle was won. In that hour, impossibilities were made real. When the last defenses fell, the air shifted. Peace descended upon Daniel with a fullness he could neither expect nor explain. Strength surged through him as the blessing he had prayed for finally arrived. Yet beyond the answer, Daniel understood what few ever realize. His steadfastness, mingled with divine help, had utterly defeated spiritual fortresses that sought to destroy him. The miracle meant more than a fulfilled request. It revealed the immense power of prayer, the unrecognized war that erupts with every petition we raise. This lesson is for all who wait, struggle, and sometimes cry in the silence. So many today suffer unanswered prayers, unaware that, as with Daniel, they may be positioned at the very center of war between angels and demons. Delays, setbacks, moments that feel hopeless. These are stages for God's greatest interventions, if only we stand firm. Archangel Michael has once more proven that no darkness, no adversary, is capable of canceling God's word when faith endures. Daniel's struggle was never his alone. His victory echoes across generations, challenging every soul. Endure, persist, and trust when all seems lost. Every tear shed in faith empowers heaven to battle on your behalf. If you face barriers, impossibilities, or doubts today, remember that unseen battles rage for you, and they are won only by those who refuse to quit. God's messenger fulfilled his mission. Daniel's prayer was answered, and the heavens resounded with victory. Let this story embolden your heart. No prayer goes unheard, and every quiet moment may conceal a titanic spiritual conflict working in your favor. When your breakthrough comes, it will testify that the impossible fell and God stood undefeated. We come now to the end of this extraordinary account of faith, warfare, and endurance. Daniel's story is a timeless warning and hope for all who wait for answers amid impossibility. Never forget, while you wait, heaven fights for you. Even in silence, a war may rage in your favor. And now I want to hear from you. Write in the comments where you are watching from and leave "Maranatha, the Lord is coming soon," so we can spread this message of hope and victory together. Today's story ends here. May God strengthen you in every challenge and teach you to believe in miracles every day. Until our next encounter, remember, nothing can stop the hand of God in the life of those who persist and trust.